Good morning, you beautiful souls. Welcome to your morning messages with me, Michelle. I'm here to help you along your awakening journey and to help you see life differently. Because when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. And a big part of that is our ego. Our ego is the one that gets in the way. Our ego is our mind. It is the little piece of our mind that was birthed when we were kids. And if we were in trauma-filled homes or environments, our ego showed up to protect us. It was our safety mechanism, and we have to be so grateful for it. But now that we're older, that ego still thinks we're always in trouble. It still thinks that we're always going to get hurt. So it tries to send us these warning signals that don't really need to be there. And then we start to get fear and anxiety and we panic. So if you woke up this morning, which most of the world did, because this weekend is supposed to be like one of the toughest weekends of the year. It's almost like, if you can imagine like the bass on like an old school stereo, and you're turning the bass like all the way up and you're just feeling that vibration in your body. That's what's happening right now this weekend. It's happening with all the planets. It's happening with the fear in the world. There's stuff going on that we don't know of, behind the scenes stuff with politicians, and there's just stuff going on, and we are energetic beings. So we are feeling that bass. We're feeling that vibration in our bodies. And what that vibration does is it changes our thought patterns. So because we feel that vibration, our mind immediately goes to, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make enough money. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get sick. And we start to create the stories. And yes, your circumstances might be a certain way, and you might feel like a little unsettled in your life, and that's okay. But this weekend and times like this, it's like the thoughts get worse and it gets louder, and you think you need to take action right now, but you don't. So I'm here to comfort you. And this is a huge part of awakening. It is not an easy path. You start to feel everything. You start to see things you don't want to see. You start to have thoughts that you feel like you're crazy, but the spiritual path is all about overcoming the mind, overcoming the ego, seeing that it was just your younger version of yourself who was in fear, who didn't have a stable childhood. And, you know, everybody has an ego, whether you had a rough childhood or not. It just depends on, you know, what happened and how strong is that ego. So a lot of empaths and intuitives and sensitives, they usually had a tough upbringing. So their egos are really, really strong. So now when they're on a spiritual path, guess what happens? The more enlightened they become, and the more open to light, and the more they heal and they remove those traumas from the past, guess what? Their ego gets louder, and it gets louder with each time they level up. So we have to become masters of our mind. And that is why I'm here. And that is why I've created mindfulness programs for kids. I created 2 programs, one for elementary and middle school and one for high school. I'll link them in the description box. If you know of a homeschooling mom, if you know if there are teachers hosting pods in homes right now, if you know of any principals or superintendents, after school programs, anybody who is in charge of kids and you think that they could benefit from learning what I'm teaching about the ego and meditating and understanding the mind and how to soothe your anxiety and how you can see it as your friend, please hit that link and copy and paste it to whoever you think could benefit from it. Because our kids, they don't have these tools. Their brains aren't even fully developed yet. So how are they going to handle what we're experiencing right now? Because they're experiencing it too. So if you're on my channel and you're listening to this, guess what? And if you have kids, or if you have siblings, or if you have any little kids in your life and they're connected to you in some way, they're most likely an intuitive as well. And they're sensitive and they're empaths and they're feeling everything. And guess what? They have no idea what's going on in their body. They have no idea what's going on in the world. All they know is they've been forced to wear a mask and stay in their homes. So can you imagine what that is doing to our kids and their minds? So we have to get these messages out there to them, to let them know that they're safe, and to let them know that they can control their mind. And your breath is everything. So we're going to start off these morning messages with a breath, because I feel like I just jumped in and just threw a whole bunch of stuff at you. So let's calm down. Let's take a few nice big deep breaths. We're going to do my 4-count breathing that I always talk about in all of my videos. We breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and then hold out for 4. Let's do 2 rounds. And this will completely settle down your fear and your anxiety if you woke up with it this morning. So I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here, and let's get to it. Breathe in. Now hold out. Breathe in. Hold out. All right. So once you settle and you soothe your physical form, you're telling it that it's safe. And when you tell your body it's safe, the cortisol levels start to drop. Your cortisol levels are your stress levels. Your blood starts to come back away from your extremities and back to your organs where they belong. Because what's happening is when you have fear and you have anxiety, your blood starts to rush to your extremities because your body thinks it's being like chased by a lion or by a tiger, and it's like, fucking go. We need to run fast. We need blood in our hands and feet to do that. So your body's very smart. As soon as it feels that fear, it sends all the blood to the extremities. And that's when you might feel tightness in your jaw. You might feel like tingling in your arms. You might feel like your upper thighs get a little weak. That's the response, the cortisol level. So we have to breathe. Breathing is the best way to immediately stop that. And then once we stop it, and this is what I teach in my program with my students, once we stop it, now we identify, okay, what was the thought I was just thinking that brought that on? Oh, I was thinking about my finances. Okay, let me just not think about that right now. I'm just going to put myself in a feel-good state for the time being, because what I'm going to teach you all right now is you cannot make a big life decision when you're in this state of being, when you're in fear. What you have to do is you have to breathe, identify the thought, put the thought on a shelf, say, I'm not going to think about that right now, just not today, not today. And then all of a sudden you go do something, you just stick to your normal routine, go put the dishes away, go get a shower, and you keep telling yourself, I'm not going to think about this. I am in control of my mind. I am not going to think about this right now. I'm going to put it on a shelf. And then I'm going to go and just do my normal routine, things that make me feel grounded, things that make me feel safe. You're not going overboard trying to run away from what's on that shelf. You're just trying to get back into your normal, like my normal Michelle routine. Like for example, I'm going to share a little bit about what happened to me this morning. So last night I had some bonkers dreams. They were crazy. Even yesterday I had like a really sad day. So much grief had surfaced in me. I was walking on the treadmill and I literally had to get off and like squat down and just sob. Like I just felt so alone. I felt like I just wish my dad was here. I'm gonna get teary talking about it. Just life gets hard, right? And I know so many people are feeling it too. So you're not alone, you're safe, you're loved, but we have to be with those feelings. So I had that happen yesterday. I just was feeling everything, every emotion. My lease is up in my apartment soon, so I have to make a decision. I thought I was going to stay. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. It's just everything hit me yesterday all at once. Went to bed, felt like I had a little like weird dreams. I'm like, oh, okay, I know this. This is when like the bass is turned up. The world is weird. The planets are shifting. That makes you have bad dreams. It makes you wake up in the middle of the night. So I know all this already, which I'm so grateful that I do, because I can detach from it and put it on a shelf. And then I had I woke up with just this, oh my gosh, I need to do something today. I have to take action today. I have to set myself up to be in a good place in my life and I have to take care of myself and nobody's going to come save me and I have to do it myself. And I was thinking all of these thoughts that were like, go, go, go. And I know that that is being chased by a tiger. I am forcing my body into this state of panic. I had to breathe. I almost didn't do these morning messages because I almost was paralyzed and was just like, well, I don't feel like doing that because I'm not going to show up in a good energy. But I was like, no, I'm letting that lower vibration, I'm letting that bass that's turned up, I'm letting that win. And I'm like, it took every ounce of my being to get off the floor from crying, to just get in the shower, I'm telling you, every step, I just was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I just kept taking a step and I just kept doing it. And this is all just me in my own little head in my bathroom. Like nothing is going on around me. So yesterday, this time, I was fine, dancing, singing, whatever. But today, there's nothing that's changed in my life. But that's what our mind does. It creates this huge story, and it tries to keep us from being happy. It tries to keep us in our sadness. So taking the step and just doing the small things and trying to stick to a routine really, really helps. Because as soon as I started to dry my hair, and I started to feel good and I felt like I was taking care of myself. And I was like, okay, I remember in my depression back when my daughter passed away. If you're new to my channel, if you didn't know this, I had a daughter, her name is Micah, and she was born with a muscle disorder. And she passed away when she was about 6 weeks old. And that was in 2012. So when I went through my depression, pretty much all those years, the last 10 years, I've always been in depression. But I realized a lot of that was my ego keeping me thinking those thoughts, thinking that I'll never heal, thinking that I'll always be sad. And once I did my healing, I realized I don't have to be sad. I can choose a different thought. I can choose a different feeling. And so anyway, I know that, through my depression, I knew that showering, doing my hair, and putting on normal clothes, like I'm going to leave the house, makes me feel better. So that was one small tool that I learned through my depression, was that I have to shower, I have to do my hair, I have to feel really beautiful in my body. And when I get to that space, I'm a teeny bit more motivated to leave the house. I'm a teeny bit more motivated to do something, to buy a gift for somebody, where before, if I were to not shower and stay in whatever I'm wearing and just look the way I'm looking, I would make every excuse in my mind not to do those things. But when I was up and I was ready and I was dressed, I was like, okay, I can go anywhere right now and I'm not going to be like weird about what I look like or whatever, and that's just my little complex. I like to feel good in my skin. I like to look good in clothes, and it's all for my own benefit. Like I would dress up if I lived alone and didn't see any humans, like on an island every day, I would still do all of this. It's only for my preference, for my happiness. So I'm sharing all this because I think that there's so many people dealing with this type of anxiety where the base is turned up. We can't control it. We don't have control of that knob. It's turned up no matter what, because of the planets and because of what we're dealing with in the world. How do we cope? How do we get through that? We get through it through breathing, through putting the thought on the shelf, right? Then we go to our normal routine. Eventually, I'm going to tell you to go move your bodies, to get out in nature, to do something that just will cleanse your energy so you can keep that thought on the shelf. And guess what will happen next? In like 4 or 5 hours, you're going to have inspiration. Inspiration comes from in spirit. So spirit is going to drop a download into your mind, and it's going to be a download on how to deal with what's on the shelf. You're going to get it'll just come to you. You're going to get an answer. And I know this. And I lived it, and it's happened over and over and over again. And I feel like it's my duty now to share this with all of you, so that when you're needing to make a decision in life, or when you're needing to just understand something and you're in fear at the moment, you will not understand it in your fear. You should not go look for a new place to live when you're in that fear. You should not look for a new job. You need to get a hold of the fear, calm your body down, breathe, do your normal routine, and then the inspiration will just come to you. It's how the universe works. If you are in a scared state, the universe will not drop you any inspiration. If anything, you will attract more of that panicky energy, which I talked about in my last video. If you didn't watch that, go watch that. That was huge about how the universe doesn't send us bad signs. If you're seeing a sign and you think it's like a warning, that's not the universe. That is your vibration, and you are attracting something to you to help you see that you're not in a high vibe, that you're feeling panicked, you're feeling scared in your life, and that's okay. You're allowed to. But don't let that situation that you attracted make it worse. Don't think that more bad things are going to happen because you're seeing it manifest in your life. No, just be like, oh, wow, I am really magical. And I just created a really icky situation, but now I see that I'm magical. So now I can change my thoughts, rest my body, and know that I can attract good things. Okay, that was super awesome. I like when I just come on here and I have no idea what I'm going to say and it just pours out. Okay, I'm going to end today's session with some affirmations that I wrote because I really enjoy doing that. And I think people need that right now to kind of understand like how they can talk to themselves. But let's pull some cards on this energy for this weekend. All right, universe, what are we being called to think about this weekend? Well, that was pretty clear. The wheel, number 10. And she's standing, she's balancing with one foot. Oh, I've never noticed this before. If you look at the beams of light behind her, right here, there's dark and light. Guess what that represents? The darkness battling the light. So if you're looking at the news and all the craziness that's going on with like all of the scandals with the trafficking and the sex trafficking and people being involved in it that were very famous people and religious people. So the dark versus the light, that like clash, that is when the world is starting to bring the darkness up. We're starting to see all the corruption. We're starting to see how we've been manipulated. We're starting to see that all of these food companies have been pouring chemicals into the food and then selling it to us to keep us sick so that we can also fund the medical system and keep them millionaires. And it keeps us all manipulated and controlled like we're puppets. So as we are seeing this darkness, and it's been happening the last 2 years, and some people know it beforehand, some people are just finding out like right now, but we've been manipulated, we've been controlled. Even like vaccines that we got when we were, kids, they probably had something in it that is now causing this skyrocketing amount of cancer. The chemtrails, them spraying chemicals all over our planet. I don't know if you've never heard of a chemtrail, Google it. So we have been manipulated and controlled, and we are just starting to awakening with Michelle Thornton. We're getting into the nitty gritty this episode. So we are being manipulated. We've been kept sick. We've been kept sad. We've been kept depressed. We've been kept in our fear financially. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started. How much they've manipulated us financially, wanting us like, keeping the rich rich and keeping the poor poor. It's all a part of somebody's plan out there. There is a group, a secret society of people. It is a darker, lower vibration that has been manipulating our planet for years, hundreds of years. And guess what's happening? 2020, God was like, all right, let's get this darkness out. We have to get the darkness out. And guess what happens before the dawn, before the light? It gets dark. It's, darkest before dawn. So this weekend is that battle. That is why that base is turned up. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And we need to protect ourselves. We need to clear our energy. We need to put our anxiety on the shelf for now and know that the world is going through this spiritual warfare of the dark versus the light. The people that are realizing, oh my gosh, they've been killing us with our food. You're seeing so many like wonderful people going out and purchasing land to start farming and growing their own food because they're knowing where our world is going. And eventually we're not going to be eating the food that they're selling us. And the food shelves just happen to be empty in the past week. So it's almost like a blessing, but it's also really scary because now we have to go make our own food. We have to supply it for ourselves. Like, why are we going to keep ingesting something that's toxic? And they're putting it on the food to kill us. So we have to be strong and we have to be very, very alert and aware of what is going on in the world right now. And also, like, we have to be able to control our own bodies and our own emotions and how we're coping with hearing this news. And my heater just went on, total confirmation. You know, I am here to help people who are starting to wake up. You're starting to see your thoughts. You're starting to see the difference between this person doesn't make me feel good and this person makes me feel great. You're using your discernment. You're listening to your intuition. And that is going to be needed in the next 3 years because there's a lot of darkness. There's a lot of darkness coming at us. You know, there's so much and it's getting louder. They're turning the bass up on us, which creates more fear. So we need more people like me and like you to get out there and to teach people how to not listen to that, to stay in your light, calm your body down, know that you're a warrior and you chose to be at the age that you're at right now in this moment, in this lifetime. You've lived many lifetimes. If you're watching this channel, you're an old soul and you chose to be here during this time in history. I'm 39 years old and I chose to be 39 when the world started to completely shift out of the darkness and into the light. And the way that we're going, and so did you, that's why I was saying that, because you can stand there and be like, I'm a warrior. I signed up for this. I'm not going to stay paralyzed in my bed. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be there for other people. And the way we move out of that fear and not get paralyzed by all the information I just shared with you, but I felt called to share it because I think we need to be aware. We don't have to sit around and think about this all day long. That's not what I want you to do. I just want you to absorb this and be like, wow, I didn't know that. Or maybe, yeah, Michelle, yep, I already knew that, been there. The world's crazy. We've been manipulated. So once you're in that state of being and you realize this information, now you have to show up. Now it's your duty to help other people in your small little community, to help them deal with their stress, to help them deal with their anxiety. But first we have to take care of us and then we spread the energy. So this morning I woke up with fear, almost didn't hop on here, but I knew all this and I was like, no, there's other people that don't know what I know and what others know, and they need comfort, they need support, they need to know that there's something bigger than them going on and they're not in control of it. But how do we stay in control of this in order to deal with all of the chaos? So one of the things I teach in my program for my kids is like, how do you find peace through the chaos? How do you know that everything's okay when everything doesn't look okay? So I hope you stick around my channel to continue getting messages like that, because now we need it more than ever. We know that we need to know that we are safe and that the universe has our back. Even though all this craziness is going on, we are safe. We pray. We are always opening sacred space and protecting ourselves from any darker energy that wants to jump in and ruin things for us. And we are balancing it. We're seeing the darkness, we're seeing the light, and we're finding balance through it. That's what this card is telling us this morning. And that is not what this card means. If I were to read it from the book, that is not what this means. But this girl is completely balanced. She's calm, she's safe. And it's not easy to stand on those pentacles like that. But she's making it work. And you can make it work too. You are strong and you got this. All right, let's get some messages from the universe. Remember what I said, when your anxiety starts to get heightened, you breathe and then you put it on a shelf and you're not going to think about it and you're going to go put yourself in some sort of feel-good state that makes you feel safe, whether it's a routine, whether it's on the phone with somebody, and you're going to create a better moment for yourself in the present moment. Because guess what? Like I talked about my last video with the law of attraction, what you're doing right now is creating your next moment. So if you stay with the thought that's on the shelf and you stay with that and you stay in your fear, it's just going to continue for hours. And you don't have to make a decision about your life today. Just not today. Not this weekend. This weekend is bonkers. So please rest. Don't go anywhere. Stay home. Create in whatever way you want to create, paint, draw, journal, sleep. You have full permission to do nothing this weekend. Holy cow. Look at these two cards. Look at the purple. They match. It says, there is nothing sexier than my authentic truth. I recognize that I have chosen fear, and I choose again, and I choose love. Heck yes. It's seeing that we have a choice. We can choose to stay in that fear, or we can put it on the shelf and then move on with our day. And the momentum will build. So remember I talked about with my depression, for me to get showered and to do my hair and to kind of look presentable, that puts me in a feel good. I learned those little tricks. So the small things we have to do. I learned that if I have a couple dishes in my sink, and it's like 5 o'clock at night, I always know that if I put those dishes in the dishwasher, it just makes me feel good to wake up the next morning with a kitchen that's clean. So I now commit. It's just something, it's like brushing my teeth for me. I just do it because I was in such a depressed state that I knew that those small little moments of waking up and being like, yay, I don't have to do the dishes. I set myself up to feel good in the next moment. And that is really living in the present, because you're realizing this present moment matters. It's creating my next moment. So don't forget that when you're choosing to move out of the fear and into love, what can you do in this moment to say, hey, I want Michelle to feel better by 11 a.m. or noon. What can I do right now that will make me feel better? Oh, maybe I'll get my workout done and over with. Maybe I'll go on Instagram and post a couple things to help people who might be struggling. And then maybe eventually they'll message me at noon and be like, hey, thank you so much for that message. Like, that would make me feel good. So keep creating your reality and keep knowing that you're doing hard things. You're a warrior. You came here for more. You didn't come here just to curl up in a ball and be paralyzed in the fear. And remember, we got purple again. Remember, you're an empath, you're a sensitive. So your ego is louder than most. And your childhood experiences have prepared you for what we're experiencing right now. You've already been through tough things. You can handle this. Your ego is going to tell you that you can't, but you can. Of course, we got the challenges card. It says, unbearable situations throw you directly into the God's arms if you are open. Please take over, divine, and guide the right actions. Please take this burden and show me your will. And you pray. You put the thought on the shelf, you pray, and then you go do your routine. You say, universe, please take this from me as you're putting it on the shelf, whatever the thoughts are, whether it's financial fear, relationship fear, fear of your body being sick or something. Say, universe, please take this from me. I don't want to deal with it. I'll deal with it when the time is right. Please drop me a download, drop me an idea and inspiration later today on how to deal with that or how to cope with that. But honestly, if it's just your thoughts that are creating the fear and you don't really have to make a big decision currently, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like if you're not feeling pressed to make change in your life and it's just your thoughts you're trying to get control of, it's actually going to be really easy because you don't need to ask the universe for anything. You just need to ask it to take the thoughts. Universe, please take these thoughts. I don't want to deal with it right now. Thank you. And guess what? That shit will jump in your body and it will remove the thoughts. There's been so many times I would pray like that and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would be like, universe, can you please change me into a woman who will just take action and start writing this paper that I have to write? And literally like 5 hours later, I'd have like 3 pages written. And I'm like, whoa, it like jumps into your body and just gives you that motivation to do it. It's pretty cool. Okay, taking a coffee breather. Barely drank any of it. You would think I'm all hopped up on it, but I'm not. I'm just full of sharing these messages. The first card says, God goes everywhere with me. The universe is always with us. I do get really worried for the people that don't have any faith in the universe and they're going through all of this. Like, how do they cope? I don't know how I would cope if I didn't have faith in something, you know? It says, the peace of God is shining in me now. Why wait for heaven? Those who seek the light are merely covering their eyes. The light is in them now. Enlightenment is but a recognition, not a change at all. Yep. There's no reason to look for light. You are it. And if you're watching this, you hold a lot of light. You're like me. Everywhere we go, we bring the sunshine. And we have to realize that we have that kind of energy. So if you're not feeling your best and you feel like people are taking from you and you just feel like you're just really drained, then don't go anywhere, because your light is precious and it's sensitive and you have to nurture it. You can't always just be giving it away. But also know that your mission is part of sharing your light and finding a way to show up in the world with that light. Because when you show up, just like I'm doing on YouTube, people that are watching this, whether it's 10 people, whether it's thousands, they're feeling the light that I exude. And then they close their computer, their phone, and then they take that feeling with them. So I am sharing my light and knowing that I don't need to look for it outside of me. It's all right in here. But it's so important to not let your anxiety dim that light. That's why taking it, putting it on a shelf, getting it out of your body is so, so important. All right, let's end with my affirmations. So relax in your seats. If you can, take a nice big deep breath, close your eyes, and just listen as I read to your sweet little hearts. Okay. I'm exactly where I need to be. Everything always works out for me. I trust my path. I needn't worry. My life is unfolding so perfectly. I have everything I need. The universe has my back. I am always being taken care of. I let go of the need to know. I trust. I trust myself. I always get things done on time. I trust I am where I am meant to be. I trust today is a wonderful day. I am proud of who I am. I am excited for who I am becoming. Magic happens all around me. I allow myself to feel good for no reason. I feel good. I feel so good. I feel calm. I am so worthy of everything I desire. I am worthy of love, and I know this to be true. I know this on a deep level. There is happiness all around and within me. It lights me up. I feel so grateful. I am so loved. I feel content with who I am. I know the universe brings me the right people when I'm ready. I have open arms. I am ready to receive. I love myself. I accept myself. I feel joy. Life is a gift. I am so grateful. I am beyond blessed to be here. In this moment, I take nothing for granted. I know I am always taken care of. I am always being nurtured by myself. I am always willing to love others unconditionally. I am ready to start this day. I choose to see the miracles unfold all around me. I choose to see the magic. I love who I am for this. I love, I love, I love. Deep breath. Keep those affirmations in your heart. When you're starting to feel whatever you're feeling, just remind yourself, you have the light within you. You are able to control your reality and how you experience each moment, and you are safe and you are loved and everything is always working out for you and you're going to get everything that you desire. We just have to keep putting it on a shelf and choosing a different thought and choosing love and not choosing fear. All right, lovies, I hope you enjoy this Saturday. If you are feeling called to book a reading with me or a session, lately I've been doing sessions where we pull pages from my books and we talk and we just hash out your fears and what you're going through. And then at the end we pull cards. So it's kind of like an overall session. It's not just a card reading. But if you feel called, my email and everything is in the description. But I hope that I've left you feeling better take this, let it sink in. Don't go be on your phone after this. Just relax and let this all integrate. All right, lovies, have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow.